All right. Good morning. It's a rough one for me. Last night was working on some pre-generated characters for riffs that took me until I don't know middle of the middle of the morning, and yeah, so I only got a few hours of sleep. I think I'm getting sick. I got a sore throat. It's rough. So this will probably be a shorter stream just because of the throat aspect of this. But hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Christmas is good around here. Um, yeah, you know, should probably wait a second so some of you pile in here. But O'Neill Flynn, welcome, buddy. You get a chance to look at some of the characters that I sent out last night. Chance, what's going on, buddy? We uh, we have a one shot tonight, and I'm just hoping my voice holds out. So I probably won't be on stream for long today. Um, I'm getting like a sore throat. You can't tell, but I can certainly tell. Paula had a sore throat yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I was up till I think I was making characters till like almost 3 a.m. I don't know. I could be wrong. And then this, I didn't end up going to bed till like 5 because I wanted to get the thumbnail up for the stream. I still have to do the overlays before the game tonight. Normally that stuff is, things I can wait till the end. I have the premise for what's going to happen in the game. I just need to write down some stats for the enemies that are going to come up. Um, so yeah, we'll have a good time. We'll have a good time. So in the email that I sent out to the players, there's one character that I made specifically for Victor. Victor is somebody who's played Palladium books before, and the class is a Techno Wizard. So a Techno Wizard is somebody who can um, they can make their own like gadgets, and that's how they cast their spells. They can't just cast spells. For example, if they want to be able to do their fireball spell, they do it through like a laser pistol, and rather than it shoot lasers, it shoots off the fireball. Um, so, anyways, I told the players though uh, that I didn't want anybody to use it. It was reserved for Victor, and I'm not. I don't. None of the characters are technically reserved for anybody, but the Techno Wizard, I didn't put like how all the spells work. I didn't put how using your inventor ability, kind of works. I didn't put any of that stuff down. So um, rather than having to answer a ton of questions, make a document on how to play a Techno Wizard, I just felt like, basically ruling it out for tonight's game was the way to go. There's a lot of things we're going to hand wave, like for example, how you regain your magic points or your hit points. We're just going to go with the whole like long rest idea. You get it all back just because it's a one shot. And I don't want to get all hung up on all that stuff. I really want people to get used to what the active defense is like and how it changes combat pretty drastically. That's what I want people to grasp tonight. Get an idea for how to play a Palladium Books game um, in that context of how combat works, how the skills work. I mean, the skills, it's just percentage based. So the problem is the skills are very specific, and you just might not have a relevant skill. And if you don't, then you have to roll under your intelligence or the appropriate skill with the d20, which is hard, very hard. Talking about like 10 to 20% usually. So, yeah, but it was cool. We have so I so there was a guy on one of the Palladium sites. So I had went on there and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for some quick pre-gens. Does anybody have anything?" And if not, if somebody could whip some up for me, I don't need like the details on the percentages or any of that. I just said, "Give me what you got, and I'll redo some of the stuff to make it work." Now, I went a little bit further. So they sent me like the 5-page Rifts character sheet. Most of the character sheet you don't use. And I'm going to show you guys what the Rifts character sheet looks like too. So for example, if I open, I'm going to open one of the characters. Let's go with the Techno Wizard. And then I'll do a screen share in just a moment. I'll take those odds. You do that. In life or death, fast-paced situations, it's not good. Alright, so I got that open. Let's go to PDF. There we go. Now under PDF, let's go. Let's stretch this back out so you can see everything. Like I said, it's pretty ridiculous. Oh, PDF is locked. That's why. I was like, what's going on here? All right. Is it really not going to let me do it? Oh, it's because it's not fit to screen. I forgot. I changed the settings because my streams were having a hard time. There we go. Okay. So 1 of 4 pages. So this is the top of the character sheet. Most characters, for example, do not have a horror factor. I left age. Like I didn't even give people this character sheet, right? Most people don't have any bonuses unless your attribute that's relevant to any of these bonuses is 16 or higher. This is again why any attributes under 16 are basically useless. You don't get any like special bonuses for speed other than your miles per hour. Like that's just, it tells you what it is. But yeah, so most characters have none of this stuff anyway, right? Under skills, it really doesn't matter if they're here, here, or here, except when you're creating a character, because one, if you have an IQ bonus, which this character has a 5% to everything, then the IQ bonus comes from your actual education. So for example, if you went to college or something, you're going to get bonuses to your main skills. Secondary skills only get the intelligence bonus. They get no other bonuses. So these are kind of like the things you're not as good at usually. In Palladium books, though, there's a lot of things you can pick, like weapon proficiencies or things like running or boxing. They have nothing to do with percentages. And so those are actually, if you're a min-maxer or a power gamer, you're going to put those as your secondary skills rather than your primary because, again, they don't have percentages associated with them. So whether you get a bonus or not by percentage does not matter. Down here, again, a lot of stuff just doesn't matter for most characters. Most characters do not have spells or psionics. They have ISP, PPE, but you don't. If you don't cast spells or do psionics, ISP and PPE really don't do anything. Additional abilities down here, which this gets it, from its Techno Wizard thing. Then the second page repeats the top, which is fine, but then it goes into like your hand-to-hand style on the top left, some of your bonuses to your combat. If you notice, most characters aren't going to have any. It has your modern weapons, in other words, mostly ranged weapons, and then your ancient weapons down there. Modern weapons typically do MDC damage. Ancient weapons do SDC damage, and I'll get into that in a little bit. On the right here, you can see you got equipment. At the bottom here, you've got your armor. You've got robot vehicles. Some characters have vehicles. I've given some characters some vehicles. Some characters have armor. Some do not. If you have no armor and you get shot by an MDC weapon, whether it barely grazes you and does 1 point of MDC damage, you are dead. That is how Rifts works. So if you have no armor, you are in danger. So again, here's another page for spells and stuff. You continue the additional abilities of note. Over here, you got more spell effect stuff. And then on the left, you got just like character background stuff. So again, I removed everything out of a character sheet. Did not want that. Now, the thing I have made instead that I'm going to show you. Made a little 4-page document myself. I used art that I found on Pinterest and stuff, so I do not own the art. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's literally for a one shot, and if you think that makes me a terrible person, I'm sorry. But anyway, so the first page, I kind of go over what I have, like a little quote underneath the picture or whatever. So for example, for the Techno Wizard, it's a combination of magic and technology. Magic put to work to make technology better. The advantage of his methods is that only a psychic or mystically bestowed character can use a gadget made by a Techno Wizard. In other words, if somebody disarms you and takes your weapon, they probably can't use it against you. This is easily the most unique magic user in Rifts. Their gadgets are non-polluting, non-toxic, odorless, can still be traced by Psy Stalkers, Dog Boys, and other mystical creatures, and have no known negative effects to humans. So in other words, anybody without magical like tracking or any means of like magical or psionic tracking will have no way to be tipped off by their weapons and stuff or their gadgets. Techno Wizard is a bit quirky. Their inventions usually don't look like anything special until they are used. A lot of times they look like they're duct taped together. They're just piecemealed, right? But it's kind of fun. It's part of what makes them quirky, you know? The Coalition is no friend of any magical creatures. They will hunt down Techno Wizards. So the Coalition is kind of like Nazi Germany soldiers. They're humans who are interested in getting rid of all mutants, which are known as DBs and Rifts. Any magic users for the most part, any psionic users. There are exceptions. For example, juicers used to be outlawed because of the process and stuff. It's not natural. However, they went back on that during a war and then had a rule that juicers that were in the coalition were okay. But I ruled that they are still not okay if they are not part of the coalition. So they will go after them, for example. And then you are considered an enemy of the coalition. Note, this is a class for someone who owns the Rift's Ultimate Edition book for spells and psionics. Refer to the book. So anyway, so this is what I kind of did. I toned down the attribute section right there, so it's all at the top there. It says your race, your class, basically. Any bonuses you get from your attributes. So this one, because of his intelligence, got the 5% skills. That was it. Abilities of note. Then I got into, I only did this on this character. I should have done this for the elemental fusionist, but I made a chart of the spells that he has that he can use and the psionics. So I've got both of those. And then I got into the hand-to-hand style. So you see here, you got 4 attacks per round. Rifts, characters at first level start with a minimum of 2, even if they're not trained in fighting. And that's because of the active defense system, they give you multiple actions to work with in Rifts and all the Palladium games. And so you can give up your next action and use your current action to, or not, I'm sorry. You can give up your next action in the round because you cycle through. You only do one thing at a time and you continue to cycle through. So you can give up like your second action if somebody on their first action is attacking you to try and dodge it, right? Or to try and like entangle them or simultaneously hit them at the exact same time because you can choose that as a defensive action too. Problem is you're both going to probably get hit then. But yeah, so I get into that. I list out some of the types of attacks the character might have. You can see this one gets no bonuses to anything. Armor. So it's got minus 10% to prowl, which prowl is kind of like sneaking up on somebody. Stuff like that. So hang on one sec, guys. I will. All right. Sorry about that. So we got all the skills here, and so you can see the percentages. Now, this is not book legal. The book would have different percentages. I went through based on each character type and was like, what do I want them to be able to do well at and poorly at and whatever. Now, nobody really truly sucks at anything. It's a one shot. I wanted it to kind of flow a little bit where people can succeed and just have some fun. Typically, you're going to start off with much lower percentages in a lot of stuff. Like this 45% sounds low, but you would actually start with a little bit lower on those. Listed out all the equipment. This is another reason why I didn't want people to play the Techno Wizard. Light MDC body armor with 2 special magic features, player's choice. Again, I didn't want to have to go over this with the game. I literally wanted to leave that for whoever was playing it, assuming they are familiar with the game. This wizard guy has a speedster hover, which is like a flying motorcycle. He also has a TW wingboard, which, if you look at this picture, kind of looks like that. And he can fly on that thing too. So he's got 2 different like vehicles that he could technically use. And then I made what is called a crib sheet. This is for people who are not familiar with the system. This is on everyone's sheet. It goes over how MDC, SDC hit points, and then you're dead. So if you get hit by something, if it's an MDC weapon, it goes towards, if you have armor, MDC armor. Okay. If your armor only has like 3 MDC points left, and say the shot does 100, it does not matter. The armor's gone, and the remaining damage does not carry over. Okay. If you do not have armor, you take 1 point of MDC damage, you are going to die. That is how it works. And the reason, think of MDC as like the most powerful thing you can think of, like a nuclear bomb or something would be MDC. Whereas punching something would be SDC damage. Okay. If a tank is rolling down the street and I run up and try to hit it with my hand, I'm not going to do any damage to it whatsoever. So if you have an SDC weapon and you're trying to hit something wearing MDC armor, you're not going to be able to do so. You're not going to hurt it. Unless you do a called shot and you find a spot that's weak in its armor. So that's the gist of MDC. MDC is something that magical creatures have and only the toughest armors and machinery have. 1 MDC is the equivalent of 100 SDC. Excess MDC damage does not carry over from armored vehicle to the character once it exceeds 0 hit points. The armor or vehicle soaks all of the MDC damage from the hit. Passengers can take damage from the whiplash, explosion, fire, or some other logical reason, though. So yeah, that's MDC. SDC is something that all non-magical creatures and objects have. So like a door has an SDC. When SDC is gone on an object, it is completely broken. So for example, the door might have 50 SDC. As you start hitting it or shooting it or whatever, obviously that you start putting holes in it and denting it and all that. But once it has 0 SDC whatsoever, the door is basically just hinges for the most part. That's kind of the idea there. When a creature's SDC is gone, they fall into a coma or outright die. So if you, as a person, were to get beat up to the point where you have 0 SDC, you fall unconscious. You're basically in a coma. If you take enough damage, I think it's like half of your SDC in 1 hit. Technically, by the rules, I think you fall unconscious. And then hit points are like your actual lethal damage. So if you are somebody that has taken hit point damage, that could mean you broke a rib, or you broke your wrist or a leg, or you're cut open and you're bleeding, or you have internal bleeding, you have a concussion. If you've taken 1 hit point of damage, that is extremely serious. And technically in Rifts, you need to seek medical attention is the idea. So again, it's different than what most people are used to. When you take damage, take it to your SDC first. Only when SDC is gone do you take damage to your hit points. So some exceptions, and I'm not going to play it this way tonight, but exceptions would be like gunshots, right? If you get shot by a gun, it's automatically going to your hit points and SDC, or a bladed weapon would go to both, actually. Because the idea is, yeah, you got shot, you're bleeding, that's a serious wound. Yeah, you took some SDC damage, you're not unconscious yet necessarily. So that's kind of how that works. Now, if you get punched, something like blunt object, it doesn't go to your hit points unless it was a critical hit. So then it would split between the two. At least I think that's how the core game works with the blunt objects. The critical hit might not make a difference. Maybe that was a house rule. I don't remember. A round is 15 seconds. So the way it works is you roll initiative and you just go in order. Say the first character goes. He's got 5 actions. He only gets to use 1, and then you go to the next character. They do their 1 action. If their 1 action is to attack first guy can give up his second action to do a dodge. So you're shooting at him. The first guy could do a dodge. If he dodges it, or if he chooses to dodge, he loses his second action. Some attacks use more than 1 action. So again, there's a lot of things here. When you roll to attack with a melee strike, the difficulty is a 4. Or you have to beat the higher opposed roll. So if somebody did a parry, which technically anyone trained in fighting is going to parry. It's automatic. It doesn't cost an action to parry within 5 feet. Also, if you have the auto dodge ability, which the Juicer is the only one out of the characters tonight, you can dodge up to 3 attacks per round, and you don't lose any of your... Actually, I think you can dodge in forever with the auto dodge. But you don't lose any actions for that. So that's a big deal. Juicers are really strong. On ranged attacks, the success number is an 8 or higher than the opposed dodge roll. Parry. When you are attacked, you can decide to parry if it falls within range, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, automatically get to parry. You can only parry up to 3 attacks in a round. The 4th strike is a free, unopposed attack for the attackers. So if you're being ganged up on by 4 guys, 3 of them strike at you, you can dodge all 3 of those throughout the round. The 4th one coming through, though, you don't get to parry, because it's basically, at that point, you're like the Matrix. You're going so fast. The idea is that you just can't do that. It's too many. Dodge. When you are attacked, you can decide to dodge it. This costs your next action unless you have the auto dodge ability. This is a D20 roll plus bonuses against the opposing strike. There are penalties to do so against guns. So it's not always just going to be a straight dodge roll. Like if people are shooting at you, you have negatives to dodge it. I should probably figure out what they are before tonight. So, dodge. I think it's like -10 or something. Which is a huge deal. If someone's attacking you, you can actually choose to entangle their arm or their weapon, like what they're using, like their leg or whatever. This will cost your next action, but you basically have them like in your hands. The entangled opponent must make an opposed dodge roll to get free. So in other words, they have to then use a dodge to get out. You can disarm people. If the defended succeeds with an attack roll or a natural... What? I wrote this all funky. My bad. If the defender succeeds with an attack roll or a natural roll of 19 or 20 on the D20. I'll have to explain that a little better tonight. But this can be used as a defensive action in place of a parry or a dodge. This costs your next action. So in other words, if they attack, you then roll higher than their attack roll, or a 19 or a 20 on the die. A 19 or 20 on the die automatically succeeds at disarming, by the way. Then you basically have disarmed them, is the idea. But you will lose your next action for it. Kind of like dodge. You lose your action. Roll with punch or fall. So you can, if someone hits you, you can choose to go with it to lessen the amount of damage you take. Same thing like if you fall from a great distance, you can try to fall in a way that doesn't hurt you as much. Simultaneous attack. As a defensive action, if someone attacks you, you can choose to do the simultaneous attack action. Instead of defending his attack, you can attack him. The plus is he can't defend you hitting him. So there is that. Now, the exception is if they have paired weapons, then they can parry with their second hand. You can do a body flip or throw. Judo-style throw or flip uses the attacker's momentum against them. 1d6 damage to SDC unless otherwise by supernatural or augmented strength. You can pull a punch to do less damage. This is what you would try to do if you're trying to get someone to surrender or take someone prisoner. You would have to roll an 11 or better. You still have to beat their opposed check as well. You can deal as little damage down to 1 hit point of damage. A failed attempt that hits will deal full damage. So your pulled punch, say you're a 1d6 plus 9 to hit, you can do a crap ton of damage on accident still. Critical hits are just double damage. You roll your dice and double it up. Aim shot. When you're shooting, you can use 2 actions to get a +2 bonus to attack with an SDC weapon. MDC weapons, I think, are only +1. Called shot. So this is like if you're trying to hit a specific target, you can hit their hand, leg, gun, radio sensor, spotlight, tires, so on and so forth. This also counts as 2 actions and is a -3 or 4 or more, depending on how far away you are and how small the target is. And that would be up to the game master's discretion. You can also do an aimed called shot that's going to use up 3 of your actions, but you still get that +2. However, if it's like a -4, it's actually then just a -2. You can't do a burst shot or a shooting wild shot. It must be a single shot. You can do burst shots that makes you an automatic -3 to hit if you're not proficient. You can shoot blind, so like in the darkness, you're -10 to hit. If somebody is behind full cover, you cannot hit them per se. There might be a very small percentage chance you can that I would determine, but you cannot shoot somebody behind full cover. Shooting wild, basically like in a moving car or on a motorcycle or riding something, or you're running and shooting like over your head back behind you or something, barely looking back. You're basically gonna have a -6. It's a pretty big deal. If you're under heavy fire too, you're considered shooting wild. Dodging bullets and energy blasts. So yeah, you're -10 to dodge within 10 feet of the shooter. -5 to dodge if you're between 11 and 50 feet. And then cover, basically if you can only see a small part of them, you have to do a called shot if they're behind cover. So that's what I did. I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of a little bit of character background on page 1, then you got your stats on 2 and 3, and then page 4 is just like a reference sheet to help people that are going to be playing. So I don't know. I hope it's helpful. I hope everyone's able to have fun and that does what I hoped it would. The premise for the game. So Rifts is Rifts Earth. It's a post-apocalyptic game, and the world has seen a bunch of wars and everything that led, and there was so much death from a nuclear attack that the ley lines, magical ley lines, have reopened and give off like this magical energy in this world, and have opened portals to other worlds and other places and other timelines and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's basically a kitchen sink of sci-fi when it comes down to it. After that happened, humans, for the most humans, got wiped out by like a lot of magic users and creatures and beasts. Like technically in the core Rifts game, for example, you can play a dragon hatchling. You know, you can play it up to level 20 and become like an adult dragon. But anyway, so that's what Rifts is. Now, the premise of the game tonight is I titled it A Routine Trip to Canada. So when we start the session, it's winter time. The group will be in the state of Indiana, and the reason I'm placing them there is Chicago and Illinois is coalition territory, and so the idea is that the coalition are the bad guys, and I want to introduce them into the game tonight and let the players interact with them. So they are going to be going up through Michigan, western Michigan, and then once they get to the northern part of the Mitten, they have got to get across the lake into the UP and into Canada. That's kind of the gist, right? So that's like if you were driving normally, you're talking about like a 6-hour drive to do that. So I get my kids popping in all the time when I'm playing. It's all good. Yeah, he's pretty excited. So for Christmas, I'm he got some wrestlers. So me and my son share a love of wrestling, and he is only 5, and so he doesn't understand like, oh, Daddy's doing a stream, we're gonna be quiet. But anyways, I made him some things for his wrestlers. So I made him like an entrance set thing that's not completely done. I still have to paint it and do some stuff, but it's pretty cool. And I used this figure for scale, the old Andre the Giant figure. So anyway, so Andre can fit through the entrance area. I also made like a balcony that you can climb up, and I made him a little interview area that's supposed to go next to the stage. And so the idea is they can fight up at the entrance and up on the balcony and get thrown down through a table in the interview area and stuff. Anyways, he was thrilled. Again, nothing's painted. It's all cardboard. It doesn't look the best, but it looks all right. But anyways, yeah, so the Rifts game, they are going to be helping cargo get to a settlement in Canada, like a village. And obviously they're being hired out as mercenaries. They all know each other. So this is a group that knows each other. They're working to get this cargo into Canada to this settlement that really needs the help. Now, some of the characters have vehicles, so they might be outside on their vehicles. One of the characters actually has a horse. So he's not going to ride the horse the whole time. That's probably going to be with the cargo. So the option will be they can either ride alongside the cargo outside, or if they want, their vehicles can be inside with the cargo as well. So that way they don't have to, the characters don't have to be outside the whole time. It'll be up to each individual player what they want to do. If they do not have a vehicle, which I think only a couple of people do, there's like the horse, there's a hover bike, and then there's the juicer has a regular motorcycle, I think it's a 700-pound motorcycle, or maybe it's 300 pounds. I don't remember. But the juicer has just a normal motorcycle for the game tonight. The Elemental Fusionist does not have any armor, I don't believe. There's also a Glitter Boy. I'm kind of hoping somebody picks the Glitter Boy as well. But yeah, so I'm just thinking there'll be a couple like long, big, like not trucks. Originally, I was gonna go with like that idea, but after like going through and being like, wow, there's a few people with vehicles. I'm thinking something that's like much bigger than a truck. I'm thinking like the old G.I. Joe headquarters that used to drive. It was like 100 yards wide. Basically like an aircraft carrier on ground. That's what I'm thinking right now, is what we're going to be using. And I'm just going to call it a cargo ship or something. A land cargo ship or something. Cross land cargo ship. And maybe it's got something built in that allows it to like create its own bridge across the Great Lakes. And that's why it's so big or something. I don't know. That's the beauty of Rifts. You can just make up stuff too. So anyways, that's the premise of the game. It's literally just helping a cargo ship deliver a bunch of stuff to a settlement in Canada during the winter time. So there's a lot of options there, a lot of things that can happen, especially if you're familiar with the Rift setting. So Michigan is, for the most part, fairly barren. You've got a magical society, or at least magic users in the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, which is like southeastern Michigan. And that's called New Laszlo, I think. There's some other stuff in Michigan, but for the most part, it's pretty barren. Most of the civilization has been destroyed or gone over the years. The Illinois area is like a walled area that is run by coalition soldiers. Typically in like the Indiana area, you have more DBs. The further you go south, you have the Federation of Magic. If you go to like New York and the East Coast, you've got like dinosaurs and swampland. You get into like north, middle Canada, like the Albertas and things like that. You have these bugs called I can't even say it right, Zittizics. There's these like black ankhead looking things that have nests that are like the size of your large cities that go underground and under ice and things like that. In like Quebec, you've got actually in the UP, you've got Northern Gun, which is a company that makes like mech suits and things like that. In Quebec, you have again more mech suits, like weapons manufacturers up there. So you've got some cool industry stuff up north between Northern Gun and in Quebec. I think is Quebec Triax. I don't remember, but you got some cool stuff up there. Um, so yeah, there's all sorts of threats that could come in. You could end up fighting just regular monsters. You could fight Coalition. You could fight the Zittizics. You could fight magic users. You know, like there's a ton of people. Just people trying to survive who could use the cargo. You know, that would be a big deal. Um, by the way, the vehicle won't be as big as the GI Joe headquarters, but I want it to be able to carry enough like food, maybe some vehicles, some other kinds of supplies. So, and then I want it to be big enough to hold if all the players wanted their stuff in the cargo bay, then they could have their stuff in there too. So, yeah, maybe there's multiple vehicles. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. I think it'll be fun. Again, I have to really write it all out. I think I'm gonna plan 1 or 2 encounters, but then do something a little more random in between there, like make my own random chart of different things that could happen. And that way I have a built-in variety in our game. So maybe I play it now, maybe I play it again 3 months from now, and we see how it's different. Maybe we play it again a year from now. I don't know. But I'm pretty proud of what I did. I think the characters came off really cool, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I am going to open, actually, I'm going to open the Glitter Boy. There we go. And I'm going to switch over to that, because this one, I like it. I'm a fan of the Glitter Boy. So the Glitter Boy is the suit on the left, and the suit on the right is actually a Coalition suit. It's a UAR-1. I think it's actually a UAR-10. But either way, the Glitter Boy you can see is not as big as the other one. It's a little more than half the size of the other suit. But you see the big gun on the back of the Glitter Boy? That's considered a boom gun, which this one I think just has a rail gun. But the boom gun is like tons of missiles going. It wrecks stuff. So it's pretty awesome. And then you can see the Coalition soldier. He's real small here. That is how small a person is compared to a Glitter Boy. There is a person inside of this Glitter Boy that's piloting it. It's basically like a giant Iron Man suit of armor, kinda. I mean, minus the flying and stuff. So Glitter Boys are cool. I'm a fan. I dig the Glitter Boys. And this Glitter Boy is actually really cool. Oh, SDC is a little high. The pilot is not supposed to have a 359 SDC, I don't think. I think I messed that up. I think it's supposed to be 39. In fact, yeah, it is supposed to be 39. I'll regenerate it though before later. Anyway, so he doesn't have a lot of combat bonuses, even though he's a martial artist, and that's because a lot of his attributes are just kind of meh. In fact, they're all just whatever. They're nothing special. So yeah, he doesn't get any bonuses to attacks. Now, in his Glitter Boy suit, though, he gets an extra attack, so he gets 6 attacks. He is a +2 to initiative, +2 to hit, +2 to parry, +2 to dodge, +4 to pull punches, and +3 to roll with punches. And then his damage is all MDC, all of it. That is all MDC here. And his damage is he's pretty dang strong. and it travels at 60 miles per hour running. So it's pretty amazing. The railgun does 3d6 times 10, and that's because it's the big boom gun. It's going to blow up. It shoots a bunch of missiles. That's the idea. He also has, when he's out of his Glitter Boy suit, he has urban armor, which is okay. At least protects him from some MDC damage, right? And that's what you want. He's got a regular knife, regular grenades. He's got a couple MDC guns, and then he's got a regular old school gun. And then his skills, mostly related to his suit. So, for example, general repair and maintenance, electronics. Piloting his Glitter Boy suit is a 90%. So if he was asked to make say he was trying to do something crazy in his suit, like a backflip, to avoid like an explosion or something. I don't know why he would do one, but just say he did it. He would have to make a skill roll and beat 90%. In other words, under 90%. If he did not, he would fail and then probably take some kind of damage. Detect ambush, detect concealment. Those are pretty big deal because when you're in a big Glitter Boy suit, you make a little bit of noise. And so it's easy to set up an ambush on a Glitter Boy when there's foliage and things like that. No vehicles, and then the crib sheet. But yeah, I love the Glitter Boy. I think it's a really cool one. There's some other really cool ones too. But yeah, you guys kind of get it. I worked hard on that last night. And again, I'm looking forward to playing today. So yeah. How are you guys doing? How was your Christmas? Did you guys have a good Christmas? I got some cool stuff. I did get Tasha's, so this is not a book I was planning on buying. Like I knew eventually I'd probably buy it because I do like 5e a lot. I've been toying with the idea of using a lot of the optional rules to make it a little bit more lethal, a little bit more, I don't know, just a different experience by a little bit. And I'll admit, I had bought into a lot of the stuff I had heard from people about not liking it. But I was going through this the other day, and there's quite a bit I actually think is really cool in here. I mean, I understand people being upset that a lot of these things are in other books, but if you look, I don't have Theros or Wildemount or Eberron or any of that. So this book does give me a lot of the things that I would have bought those books for the most part, right? I mean, not everything, but I just think there's some cool stuff. There was like a fighter thing in here that I thought was kind of cool. Like different fighting styles I think were cool. I think that's what it was. I don't remember. Changing a skill. Custom lineage is totally fine by me. I don't know why anyone freaked out by that or freaked out about it. But I remember for sure the fighting styles. Excuse me. Stood out to me. Like you can throw weapons now. Like just in general, a lot of these seem to have some cool flavor to them. New flavor. Which I should have known I probably would have liked this book because I really liked Xanathar's Guide. Like there's optional rules, and maybe that's also part of it because I've been really starting to think about using optional rules more. Maybe that's another reason this book has stood out to me as something that I'm kind of interested in. Yeah, the unarmed fighting style sounds cool. Dip it into monk. Yeah, you would totally do that. Chance says Christmas was great. Got to hang with the sis. That's awesome. Yeah, we just hung out at home and kids had a blast. They had a good Christmas. They each got a video game. Lily got Sims 4 with the Star Wars bundle with it. And then Caleb got WWE Battleground, which is like an arcade style game. Oh, blind fighting. That's what it was that stood out to me. So I remember when 5e came out and I introduced Paula's brother and his family to 5e. And they were looking in the book of 5e for blind fighting. And I said, it's not in there. And they're like, well, why? That was such a big deal. It was so useful. I was like, I don't know. It's just not in there. And so I'm kind of glad that's in there now. It's really cool. But yeah, all of these different fighting style options, I think I really like. Maybe not. Let's see. What about the superior technique? You learn one maneuver of your choice from among those available to the Battlemaster archetype. If a maneuver you use requires your target to make a saving throw to resist the maneuver's effects, blah, 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 you gain one superiority die, which is d6. This die is used to fuel your maneuvers. A superiority die is expended when you use it. You regain your expended superiority dice when you finish a short or long rest. So how would that pair up with the Battlemaster? If you took that, do you just get an extra die then at that point? Is that the idea? You just get an extra die? I mean, that's still cool, being able to do that one extra time. But yeah, the thrown weapon fighting's cool. Right off the bat, unarmed fighting is better than a monk, though. Yeah. Oh, but you can also grapple. Okay, if you've got someone grappled, you do automatically 1d4 points of bludgeoning damage if you want. That's crazy. Oh. 1d6 plus your strength modifier on a hit. If you aren't wielding any weapons or a shield when you make the attack roll, the d6 becomes a d8. You can do d8? Wow. That by itself without level dipping is pretty damn good. And you can hit twice. Regular attack, bonus attack. That's great. But anyways, yeah, I like that. I actually think it would be a lot of fun to play one of these varieties of fighters. Even the barbarians look cool. Rune Knights. Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. But yeah, so this is a cool book. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm gonna probably try to read that eventually. January is the month where I figure out Pathfinder 2e. I've already decided that. A couple other books I got that I was pretty excited about. This Quests book is brilliant. First of all, there's a bunch of other books that they have: Dungeon Hooks, Royal Quests, Forest Quests, Doorways to Another World, Town Quests, Sea Quests, Questing Beasts, Quest Objects, Lost Cities, Meta Quests. Oh wait, no, that's in this book. I was like, what? So that's all the stuff in this book right there. Now, some examples, and again, I like this because I could plan a whole like one shot around a lot of these. So under Royal Quest, there's a report of a break-in at the Royal Catacombs. A king hires the party to investigate. That's a whole session right there. Maybe it's multiple sessions. The queen is sullen and angry. Her court is seeking a group of entertainers to cheer her up. That one would be hard. Forest Quest. The party is ambushed by a group of ruthless highwaymen. Party is asked to collect honey from a beehive high in a tree. Oh, that sounds like our Pathfinder game almost. The party spots a tree with a map carved into it. The map points to some location deep in the forest. If the party follows the route, they come to an overgrown tower. I haven't read the Tasha's book, really. I really just have skimmed it like twice now, maybe 3 times. And every time I skim it, there's something new I kind of get excited about. Road trip. Yeah, our Riffs game will be a road trip. O'Neill Flynn. It was good. Kids are happy with whatever they get. Yeah, our kids, I may have spoiled them a little. Or at least, well, not I. We. So my son, because he's into wrestlers, the problem is a lot of the wrestlers, the good ones, cost a lot. So we got him like the Hollywood Hogan Ultimate Edition that like has more points of articulation and stuff. It was like $30. Well, I think I got it on sale a little less than that. But it's a really cool figure. Like that's a figure I would want for my shelf, you know? But yeah. Also got him like Andre the Giant on the rolling cart, Macho Man on the rolling cart. He got Triple H and Ronda Rousey, Velveteen Dream and Viscera. Both of those two have the extra articulation, not the ultimate articulation, but the elite articulation, which is just a few less. and it comes with those two come with belts. So that was kind of a big deal. Because just trying to buy the belts online costs more than some figures, it seems. It's ridiculous how people try to upcharge. Doorways to another world. A girl begs the party to help defend her family from evil marauders. When the party agrees, they are transported to another world. When the party defeats the marauders, the girl returns them to their world. Have you checked out the new Eldritch Invocations? I have not yet. But I never played an Eldritch Knight or anything anyways, so... I think it's okay this year to spoil the kids. Oh yeah, we honestly, there's no regrets. It was a good Christmas, all things considered. We dropped off cookies and stuff at Paula's brother's house. They came out in the yard, said hi to us. So that's kind of how we've been dealing with COVID. We do not hang out with anybody. When we see people, like in the summer last year, we saw Paula's parents, but we stayed outside and we sat across the driveway from each other. Kids had a hard time keeping their distance though. My mom came out. She lives 2 hours away. She came out, same kind of thing, across the driveway. Um, Her brother and his wife and their kids dropped off birthday presents to both the kids this year. That was cool. They even brought us, they picked up food for us and dropped it off. You know, so we've seen people and we've done like Zoom calls with family and stuff, but we have not like, hey, let's all sit around and play video games or play D&D or any of this stuff. So in that regard, it's been tough, but at the same time, we still see each other. So it's not like the end of the world, and we still talk and socialize. Anyways, so Matt Davids is the one who makes this, though. I did order Quest 2 as well, and I plan on ordering. I do have the first Random Tables book. I plan on getting all those because he's just great. Like, these books are amazing. Like, if I just wanted to run a pickup one shot, I would literally just open this to something and be like, oh, this sounds good, and just run it and you know, freestyle. Now, the other book that I think is going to come in handy for some live streams. I want to do world building live streams because I think it's going to help me finish my world. I want to get it written because, again, my big bucket list item, and I'm going to quit calling it that. It's always been my bucket list item, was to publish my world as at least a PDF, something I could do print on demand, and print it for myself and my players. Always wanted to be able to do that. I think I'm going to make it happen this year. I think this year is the year. And this book, 30 Days of World Building, is more of a workbook than anything. So what happens is it's got a cool introduction, but once you get past that, for the days, it's got a little bit and then an empty space. So like day 3, water sources, and it tells you a little bit, and then down here you're supposed to write it. I'm not going to write it in the book. I'm going to type it up, so I'm not restricted by space or any of that stuff. I'm either going to get a separate notebook, like a notepad, to do it, or I'm going to do it in just a single Word document. And I'm just going to type all of this stuff up. This is meant for writers more than RPGs. So I'll do things a little bit differently. But once I've filled that out, I will then apply it to the book format that I've already thought up. I've already got like my table of contents idea so that I can make the book flow a certain way and things like that. So again, that's more of a passion project than anything. So obviously you guys watch, we do mini painting on this channel. I got a Baylor. Super excited about this. It looks awesome. And obviously Paula's going to paint it, not me. So it's kind of funny she got it for me. But I also got her mini paint. So she had sent me an Amazon list of things she wanted, and it had like a few things for miniature painting. And I was like, is that me being selfish buying her stuff for that? So like she wanted a wet palette. Well, I didn't order one. You know, she wanted some other stuff. Again, I didn't do anything about those. So either way, I got that. I got the Basilisk and the Grell. So the Grell is going to be really cool. Basilisk is cool too, but it's really small. You can barely see it down in there. But the Grell is going to be awesome. I got an Etten, which technically I have a pre-painted Etten, but it's still cool. I'm going to let Paula do whatever she wants with this, which she always likes that. So But yeah, there's the Etten. And then I got 2 warlocks. Oops. I got the human male and the human female warlock. So obviously the little tag's still on there, but the one theme, I really like the tentacled one over here. Both of the girls are cool. For the guy, he could almost pass for any kind of spellcaster or aristocrat in the one. And then the other one, he definitely looks more like a necromancer. He's got like a skull staff and like a sword, which is kind of cool. He can almost be like an eldritch knight or something too. But so yeah, those are cool. I got what else did I get? I got the dungeon board game, which will be fun to play with the kids sometime in the next week or so. At least my daughter. Maybe my son can handle it. Oh, so I ended up ordering the rest, but I've got Force and Destiny. Oops, hit my popcorn too. And then the Force Awakens, which I know people say the Force Awakens is a terrible one, but I got both of those. One of these I actually ordered for myself. I think it was the Force Awakens, or was it Force and Destiny? I don't know. One of them I ordered for myself. I can't remember which one. Actually, I think it was this one. So I ordered this one for myself. Paula ordered me this one. Sorry, Santa Claus. And we ended up, I used some Amazon credit to buy the other box sets, the DM screen, and the Edge of the Empire core rulebook. So I will have all of those, and I will actually be able to play Star Wars very soon. I mean, technically, I have enough here I could play it. The thing that sucks, I will say this. So these boxes are really flimsy. I hate these boxes with a passion. This one is all damaged right here, just from something that was probably in the box with it. It's all ding, not this one. So it's got the gouge out of the box right there. This one is all dented. The corners are jacked up. It's just seen better days. And these were like perfectly sealed 2 days ago, like plastic wrapped and everything. So that's the downside to these boxes. They're really cheap boxes. I hope that I don't know. Maybe I'll build myself a box to hold like all the Star Wars stuff, just because that bothers me. I'll leave the boxes up here for for whatever, but maybe I'll make like a box and put the dice in a compartment, put the workbooks in a compartment, the pre-gen characters in another compartment. I don't know. I want to do something though, but we'll see. So I got that. Is that everything? That might be everything. Battleship. I got Battleship. So that's over there. Dungeon, like I said. I think that's everything. I think that was my Christmas haul. But again, I'm pretty excited about it. It was a good, chill Christmas. Got to play some games with the kids, play some video games. Like I said, I'm actually surprisingly really excited about Tasha's. Even when I opened it, I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll probably use it at some point. But I was not overly like, oh my gosh, this is great. Upon opening it, I probably would have been more excited for the Pathfinder 2 Bestiary book or the Pathfinder 1E monster cards, but I bet you I wouldn't use those as much as probably Tasha's. I don't know. Well, maybe the monster. I don't know. I want to play Star Wars again. Never played FFG version though. Oh, it's great, dude. It's so much fun. I haven't played it in like 10 months, 11 months. We played that, and then we played Rad Wasteland, which is very similar. It used the Star Wars dice. This was an early version of Rad Wasteland. Since then, it's changed. It's in playtest. And it's changed in the sense that the sides of the dice, there's more sides on a lot of the dice. It uses different sided dice now. And it's changed other mechanics within the game as well. And so Rad Wasteland is a post-apocalyptic Wild West game. Really cool. It's got cyborgs, a lot of gunslingers, things like that. The pictures for the dice, I think, are going to include things like snakes and boots and bullets, like bullet holes. So it's going to be cool. I can't wait to see what happens with that. I don't know if he's worked on it in a while though. He's been doing a lot of other stuff. Um, but yeah, it was a good Christmas. I'm pretty excited about what I received, and like I said, we spent a lot of time with the kids. Paul spent a lot of time baking leading up to Christmas just for fun, and so yeah, I got to play Caleb's game with him. I started Lily's game. The Sims is obviously a one-player game. That's the downside, right? But I did find the cheat codes. I was the first one to do that, so I had the biggest house first. Had the biggest lot and the biggest house first. My house is not complete. It has no finish on the exterior, so it looks very modern, like a squared off house because I haven't put a roof on it. Haven't done any siding on it or anything. But the main floor is livable. I created a basement with a bar and like a workout room. On the main floor, it's got one bedroom, two offices, a living room, dining room, nice kitchen, like a play area between the living room and the kitchen. And then it's got like in the foyer area, I'm going to make that like a play area too. I don't know. Sims 4 is surprisingly fun. And I haven't even dabbled with the Star Wars stuff in it yet. But yeah, it's surprisingly a lot of fun. And I don't know. I just need to make sure I don't play it very much. Excuse me. Use the hyperspace D6 rules to play. So the reason I like the FFG Star Wars is because the dice force you to be narrative. So you can succeed on your skill roll, but you have these other dice that determine if you gain an advantage. What is it? It's called like a triumph, or you like have something catastrophic happen. So if you roll and you succeed, but you also roll that something catastrophic happens, then something bad happens. So for example, say you're trying to, I think this is an example from the game we had. We're trying to hack into the bay so that the door opens so we can fly our ship out. Well, when doing this, we fried the console. It won't close now. It opens. It's opened. It won't close. So now we can't close it behind us because, you know, it fried. And so now we're getting attacked by a bunch of stormtroopers. So that would be the negative fallout from succeeding. Or the opposite could happen. You fail, but you rolled a triumph. So even though you failed, maybe then you notice that, oh, the window's open. So now we just got to go climb through the window. Or even though you failed, you did not trip the alarm system. Or, you know, so you're forced to describe. Obviously, that's more meta, but you are forced to role play the fallout of it. So, for example, if you roll a triumph while fighting a bad guy, you may have failed to hit him, but because you had a triumph, maybe in failing he dropped his gun, or his armor malfunctions, or you could even go as far as, you know, in fighting with him, you've at least managed to get the upper hand because he fell prone. Like there's all sorts of things that you can kind of say. Or in shooting at him, I may have missed him, but I, you know, hit the antenna on his backpack, and now his communication's down. You know, again, a lot of cool role play things that are added in there based on mechanics. And it's up to the players and the person running the game to decide how much leeway they have. You know, the person running the game can be like, no, that's too much for the single triumph or whatever. You know, so again, that's how you get crits. You can succeed and then get crit or get the triumphs on top of it. So not only did you succeed, but also something really good happened. So when you were fighting the stormtroopers, you rolled to hit him, but you got that triumph. And all of a sudden, allies had showed up and started shooting the stormtroopers as well. You know, like that would be a pretty big deal. So again, Fantasy Flight Star Wars, there's so many possibilities. You know, I'm sure there's some restrictions built into the rules for that. I haven't read the rules. I just played it a couple times and I've had a blast. It's a good game. And so I'm really excited to get more into it. I almost bought the Genesis core rulebook as well. The dice mechanics are the same, but it uses different pictures in the books and on the dice, it looks like. And I don't have to buy a whole new set of dice. I just need to memorize what the meanings are on the current dice to apply it to that. But the Genesis book lends itself to being for multiple type of settings. So you can play fantasy, sci-fi, you know, modern, superheroes, whatever. And it's supposed to lend itself to that kind of play, whatever kind of play you want. Excuse me. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But this week, Paula is going to be doing a class. And when she's not doing a class, I'm going to be out here working. I've got a lot of videos I want to get done this week. So many cool things. So many cool things that I think I can get done this week. Chance says there's a Star Wars game based off of 5e mechanics as well. Yes, there is. I actually have a printed version from a while back. But if you go to their Discord, it's changed since that one, or it's a different one. There's a newer one that they update like monthly, to the point where I gave up before even downloading everything because I was like, this just updates way too often. But it has like all the ships, all the types of races that have ever been in any Star Wars, the classes, like just it's insane how much they have. Let's see. Yeah. So I had started to print it out. Like I said, I got quite a bit printed. So Star Wars 5e, Starships of the Galaxy. There's one of them. It's thick too. This is all fan-made material. Different types of things you can do in a space fight or a starship fight. I'm not even part of the Discord anymore. I left. Here's the Star Wars 5e monster manual. Again, that's moderately thick. You know? Again, cool stuff. So I have enough here. I could literally play 5e Star Wars if I wanted to. So there's that. Then, let's move that aside. What is this? Is this the player stuff? Yeah, this is the newest player stuff as of a year ago. Again, they've updated so many times. This never got bound. I meant to bound it. It's just boom. I don't think it's every page either. I think I stopped short of the whole thing. I think I ran out of ink or something. Yeah, because I even have a couple white pages because I did run out of pages. Yeah, see? So I got a white page and then a bunch of yellow. But anyway, so that's that. It's cool, though. I like what they're doing, what the community did. Yeah, it cuts off. So it was that. This, though, was the very first version I found. I think it may be by different people. I don't know. But this was the first version I had. I've had that for 5 years. It's a little bit simpler when it comes to the player characters. So species, it's only like 50 pages. The dark side, it talks about how like if you're a Jedi, you start going towards the dark side, or a Force user and you go towards the dark side. Classes and skills, you have the Adept, Fringer, the Jedi, the Noble, the Soldier, the Specialist. Has 2 pages of equipment, 1 page of vehicles, and then it gets into force powers. So again, it's cool. I got like a thing for a sentient robot in here. Oh, that was just a 5e thing in general. Yeah, this is literally only 46 pages. So, you know, it's not the best. But if I wanted to play some Star Wars using 5e rules, I could legit do it right now if I wanted to. The problem is I just don't want to. I thought I wanted to back when I started getting these things. And I really should have just tried Fantasy Flight Star Wars 5 years ago when all my friends were trying to get me to. I really should have. Although if I went down that path, who knows? Who knows where I'd be right now? I'd be probably doing a bunch of Star Wars gaming videos a couple years ago. Whereas now, I probably won't do a bunch of videos on it. I might do a review, um, and things like that. But I don't think I'm gonna do a bunch of Star Wars videos. Uh, it's good though. I did not grow up a huge Star Wars fan. I grew up. I loved Indiana Jones as a kid. Did not like Star Wars. I didn't know what Tolkien and Lord of the Rings was until the movies started coming out. Um, I was always a nerd deep down. Like I was always into nerdy things like comic books and video games and all that stuff, which in the 90s kind of labeled you as a more of a nerd. But I never, I was also into other things like sports and, whatever, wrestling, which I guess wrestling does make me a nerd too. But I was into things that weren't necessarily considered nerdy at the time too. And so those I think were easier for me because my dad wasn't really a nerd. Like he liked Star Wars, but he wasn't like a collector of any of it. It wasn't like a huge deal. And so I never had it wasn't as easily accessible for me as things like sports. My dad always watched all the sports, and stuff like that. So I just was drawn to those things. And so growing up, I was just into sports and video games. And I hit middle school and I kind of that's the first time I played an RPG, and I played Palladium books for the first time. And again, I couldn't find anybody to play that. I didn't have enough nerdy friends, I guess. And hit high school, and I had just moved too. I had moved to a new town in middle school, and so I just didn't have a lot of friends in general. But I made friends over sports. And so again, I did not have a lot of people who were into a lot of the role playing things, so I didn't get anything going with all that. So then in high school, I did realize some of my friends were into D&D, and I wanted to play, but the group was full. And so I just didn't play. And Star Wars, I always thought was boring as a kid. And so as I got older, I just didn't give it a fair shot. So like in middle school and stuff, I just was like, whatever. And I kick myself for that to this day because as an adult, I remember Spike TV, I want to say like 15 years ago. So when I was like 20 years old, maybe, I literally sat around and watched all the Star Wars movies on Spike TV over the course of the weekend, and or something, or borrowed the movies. I don't know, but I want to say it was about 15 years ago. I watched all the movies. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I was like, I don't know all the lore. I don't know how people pick up on it all just from these movies. But, you know, eventually though, I've really started to appreciate it. And then obviously now, I mean, Mandalorian, all these other shows coming. My favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One, easily. I really I liked Solo. I thought that was a decent movie. But I didn't go into it with any expectations of it being a certain way. I just went into it like, oh, cool, it's going to be a movie about Han Solo. Let's check it out. I, again, don't have any knowledge for the most part outside of the movies. And I'm able to just sit back and enjoy all of the movies. And that's what I like. I can sit there and watch all the movies and have a good time. And that's actually something I want to suggest this week with Paula because we watched Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit last week. I kind of want to sit here and watch all the Star Wars movies this week. So we'll see. I have to get the order written down and just go through them all. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. My throat's getting a little sore, and if I'm gonna run a game tonight, I need my voice. So, thank you for watching, guys. This has been fun again, like usual. And I will be doing. I still have some Pathfinder reviews coming. Hopefully, gonna have those filmed in the next couple days. And I'm also going to be probably doing some world building now that I've got that book. So I also was watching Jordan, the PH is Silent. He did 30 days of world building this month, which also has inspired me. So maybe I'll even incorporate some of the things he did in his videos. I'll go through and make a list based on his videos. But Yeah, it's been fun, and all that good stuff. I love that. I just want to world build. I love world building. I get excited about that. I really do. I'm not the best at it, but I enjoy it. So tonight, guys, tune in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be playing Riffs, a one-shot. It's called A Routine Trip to Canada. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that, and we'll see you guys later. This is Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.